Welcome back to Good Morning, Vail. I am very thrilled to introduce Stephen Wallace of the Martini Shot. He is the writer and director. And thank you so much for joining us, Stephen. I know you couldn't come out to Vail right now, but we're so thrilled that you're taking the time to talk to us. How are you doing, Stephen?
I'm doing much better, thank you. My apologies for not being there in person this time, but I promise I'll come next year one way or another.
Oh, thank you. We're just thrilled that you're here with us. So I'm so appreciative. And I'm so excited to talk about the Martini Shot. I have my first question right off the bat. Is this a little bit of it's intense, I know that, but a little bit of a darker film?
We try to, well, what I wanted to do is I wanted to create a bit of a surreal film about how, if God was maybe a little bit more human. And so we took the Matthew Modine character who
Yes.
plays, a God who's a director and how he's trying to direct that last piece before he feels he dies. And so we look I look at it as kind of an exploration of life and both positive and negative on it. I think there's moments where it gets a little intense, and I think there's moments where it's very sweet.
That's what I was thinking because Matthew Modine, obviously incredible, incredible actor, terminally ill director. He plays obviously in this movie, and I know that the very end there's this moment where I am assuming he says, "What does it all mean?" So I just get this feeling that it is a full circle moment of living and truly living with this terminal
Mm.
illness.
Yeah, I think we wanted to have to show kind of like the kind of the circle of life in a lot
Right.
of ways, without giving away the because we have kind of the landing, essentially what we wanted to do was to have it be kind of like a true ending, if you know what I mean.
Right.
And so we wanted him to kind of come to that realization along at the same time as the audience. And so we wanted, we do so many of these Christmas movies nowadays and horror
Right.
films. We don't do anything that makes you think anymore. And
Truth.
and and Matthew is one of those really cerebral actors, and so we thought that would be really great to try to do a film where we had the audience have to pay attention.
I love that. And Stephen, so was it shot in Ireland, the film?
Yeah, it was shot in Ireland. We were at the Cliffs of Moher, but we were also shot in Limerick and
So cool.
in Shannon area, and yeah, we kind of buzzed around. We did an awful lot of running around. We shot a day in London with John Cleese, and
Awesome.
so yeah, we were doing an awful lot of work for 3 weeks.
That's what my next question. You're perfect with this. 3 weeks to shoot the whole film, the entirety of the film.
Yeah, it's been funny because we had a really great screening with a whole bunch of Oscar level guys in New York, and they were just all stunned that we were able to make a movie that had this much kind of epicness and prettiness and acting that at this level that in such a few short weeks. But I find with anything, if you hire well, that it's amazing actually how good everything can work.
See, and I was going to give you a shout out and say that speaks volumes about you as a writer director, but you just gave it away, gave it to the actors. I like it. You're very
I,
humble.
you
I
know,
like that.
But I'll be quite honest. The film is really a collaborative art form, and I think
Right.
sometimes people get caught up in me, and the truth is
Mm-hmm.
that there's no successful film without an amazing crew, an amazing writer, and amazing actors. It just doesn't happen. One person can't do the whole thing, and
Right.
and so for me, I long gave up in pretending that I was the main reason for anything. I'm just part of the machine.
Well, I like it. I like you. Stephen, was this whole concept, did you kind of take it from something personal that you have gone through or that you've seen, or how did it come to fruition, the whole
Yeah,
concept of this film?
yeah. Well, part of it was is that I got very ill a few years back, and where I almost died, and
Wow.
so there was a point where I was thinking about my own health, and
Mm,
and so I think that once you kind of go through that journey, I think I wanted to try to come up with an interesting way to talk about it,
right.
and that's really kind of where it started. I also too wanted I got tired of doing the same kind of movies that everybody else does. I felt like it's
Mm,
was time to try to do something original and do something that was a little braver than what that we have out nowadays. And Matthew was amazing, to jump on board like he did. Like, our cast is a pretty significant cast with John
Yeah.
Cleese, Sir Derek Jacobi, like Stuart Townsend, Fiona Glascott, and we didn't shoot it much more over $1 million,
Wow.
and that's probably a $10 million cast. And
Yeah.
but when you get people that committed, willing to work, and then I think they were excited to work with each other. They helped out.
That's really neat. And thank you for sharing that about your own personal journey, because I feel like so often I love that you're doing or that you did rather, this film, because it will help others. And the mental health piece is so big. And I'm sure it helped you a little bit with your journey. That had to be some kind of release or a feeling of just a cathartic moment for you as well.
Yeah, especially now, because now that the film's kind of getting out, and it's been picking up awards, and there's a lot of talk about Matthew maybe being kind of on that short list for big awards next year.
Yeah.
Because the film comes out in 2024. So there's a lot of excitement for that, and it's neat watching. It's because it's one of those films you want to see in a theater with a group of people. We've
Yeah.
been finding that the people coming up to us afterwards have all been very emotionally moved, and I think that because I think we all have those moments where we feel our mortality, or we wonder about what's real and what's not, and I think that it's not always a bad thing to talk about those things.
I love that too, because my favorite films are ones, obviously, you leave and you're changed and you want to have those conversations. I get so excited. That's why I'm so thrilled about all the film festivals to have those conversations. And like you said, to open up a dialogue that maybe isn't always so easy to talk about.
Yeah, it's I think it's important to have, film should be used for conversations. I mean, Martin Scorsese talks an awful lot nowadays about the kind of the failure of cinema, because we don't tell the stories that we used to tell. And in humans all through creation, from cavemen on, have all told stories that have helped teach and helped move people forward. And we're kind of in this kind of world now where we're just telling stories with popcorn, ideas, and those things aren't going to necessarily help you. And I think that we got to keep on telling these stories, and people have to keep on showing up to the theaters, and
Yeah.
because if you show up to the theater, they're gonna put those movies in, and there's a group of us that do try to make them. So
Well, Stephen, you're my type of people. I like you. Thank you so much. Thank you for being you and sharing your story. I'm so excited about the Martini Shot, and I could talk to you all day, but I think we're going to watch the trailer if that's okay with you.
it's great. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Stephen. And here's the trailer for the Martini Shot.
I'm shooting a film.
Oh, good. Excellent, excellent. Well, do it quickly.
Is it that bad?
Just concentrate on getting yourself a really nice plot.
A plot?
A plot? Oh, not for a movie. No, I mean a plot, where they can dig your...
My agent tells me that you're filming again.
Yes, my therapist thinks it will help.
With the terminals. You do realize that creatively you're insane.
I'll take that as a compliment.
It wasn't meant this way.
You always work with dead actors?
I work with the people I like. I find it frustrating that life can be so precarious.
You've always been more concentrated on yourself.
So everything's okay?
Better than I could have ever hoped.
Always a good sign that tragedy lies ahead.
Do you know what I like about you? Nothing.
Your finality, well, as you notice, I'm not doing any tests with you today. And that's what happens when finality starts. You see? You just give up hope.
I don't think acting like a child is going to help you finish this movie.
Let's capture moments rather than try to create them.
You have to stop putting dead actors in this film.
But my finality's coming and I don't want to leave this unfinished.